not playing Levi Garcia on the wing was Trinidad and Tobago's biggest mistake in this World Cup qualification campaign. Before we get into the video, guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you for your support thus far. As you all know by now, I believe that Levi Garcia is Trinidad and Tobago's best player. In terms of ability, in terms of level, I mean, he plays at the highest level out of all of the players in our camp right now. And I believe that he's our best player, to me. You know, people will argue, well, is Molino, and you could say, yeah, Molino probably is our best performing player. You know, he also has that technical ability. As we said in our last video, he would probably start for any team in the CONCACAF region and maybe even teams around the world. But to me, personally, I think Levi Garcia has the highest level. I think he's at an age where he's at his peak, you know, and he plays at the best league. Out of all the players that we have, you know, he has had the best season, and that season in INVOICE where he scored, he was a top scorer, they won the domestic double, all of these things. Levi Garcia is a very high level, high quality player. This is somebody who Everton wanted, I believe Tottenham wanted, you know, big names wanted Levi Garcia. And that's just to show you the quality of the man. Now I know people will be watching this video and thinking, but what Levi do for Trinidad, dog? Like, Leo, what you really saying? And fair, he hasn't really done anything for Trinidad and Tobago. But I think especially in this qualification campaign, the reason for that is because we weren't getting the best out of Levi Garcia. And I definitely think that he should have been playing out on the wing rather than in that number 9 position. Now, let's discuss why. Now, of course, Levi, that season I spoke about in INVOICE where he was their top scorer, you know, over in Greece. They won the domestic double, the cup, and the league. I don't know if they ever did that before. That might have been history. Levi Garcia did indeed play as INVOICE number 9. So we know that he does have the capability of playing on number 9. It's possible. It's not something out of the ordinary. But it was clear to see from early on this year in Trinidad and Tobago colours that Levi wasn't comfortable in that number 9 position. We saw it from St. Kitts, you know, I think he did score, but he also missed a penalty. Yeah, he got some assists. But again, you have to look at the opposition. It was St. Kitts and Nevis, it wasn't the best. And then as time went by, he did score a goal against Costa Rica. Fair play, you know, but it was never a case where we were truly convinced by a striking performance by Levi Garcia. Why should he have played out on the wing? Let's take a look back at the good performances that Levi had, or at least the big chances that, you know, he created or that he was at the end of. Now, obviously, I don't have the benefits of showing replays, so you might just have to check back or recall on your memory. But let's just look at this round of qualification in particular, this final round of qualification. The first Curacao game, 0-0 at the Hasely Crawford Stadium. Not really much chances created for Trinidad and Tobago. There were some good crosses put in by Spicer, which Levi didn't really get, you know, to the end of, which a normal number 9 or a really hungry or comfortable number 9 would have feasted on some of the deliveries that Tyree Spicer was putting in, you know, and we didn't see that from Levi from early on. And I don't know if you recall, but the best chance that Levi had in that game was one where he kind of ran in from the right-hand side. I think he cut the defender and got his shot away. Or did he have a shot from the angle? I can't remember, but I do remember him getting a big chance off of the right-hand side. You know, and well, obviously, he didn't score. So that was one sign. The second sign was when we played Jamaica, over in Jamaica, and Levi scored the offside hat-trick, the famous offside hat-trick. The first goal was a ball that was played in on that right-hand side. Again, Levi was out on the right-hand side. He made that run out wide. And, you know, then he cut the defender. He beat him, put him on his pants, I believe, and scored the goal. Unfortunately, he was offside. Another major thing to note of how Levi is, you know, creating his chances. Realize we're not talking about much headers. We're not talking about many tap-ins, late runs into the box. Things that number 9s would normally do. Right now, we don't know the instructions that were given to Levi if he was to be an out-and-out number 9, if he was to play a false 9, because he does drop deep, he does get the ball out to the wide players. He does do that. He can hold up the ball, you know, very well. We know that he can do that. We don't know his instructions, but from the perspective of looking at a traditional number 9, Levi Garcia from those two games, we didn't see it. We then go on to the Bermuda game where, you know, obviously, well, I can't even say we were supposed to win because we drew them the other day in Hazy Crawford Stadium. But again, Levi Garcia, Dante Silly, and Spicer had a really good game. There was good chemistry there. Levi didn't get his goal, but he did have a very technically good game. You know, he was holding up the ball well, he was winning fouls. But you look at the first goal that was scored by Dante Silly. Again, it's Levi Garcia who gets the ball out wide and squares it back for Dante Silly, who finishes it off. I don't think Levi scored. No, he didn't score in that game. He got that assist. And, you know, again, out from that right-hand side. So, again, we see signs of the comfort that Levi Garcia has out on that wing. So 3-0 victory versus Bermuda. Again, 3 games have gone. Levi is yet to score a goal. And this is no criticism of him. But if you are qualifying for a World Cup or planning to, your number 9, your starting number 9 needs to be in on the goals. It's what's the word? It's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. Right? It's imperative is the word I was looking for. We go on to the Curacao game. Again, we had a lot of chances. Arguably, Trinidad and Tobago fans will tell you that we should have won that game. We didn't. The goal that was scored, Spicer, beautiful goal. Molino came on in the second half, had a nice touch. I don't know how much he meant it, but it fell perfectly for Spicer, and he scored the goal. The sign of Levi showing more comfort on the wing in this particular Curacao game came closer to the end of the game, where we were looking for that winning goal. And Levi was picking up the ball on the left-hand side of the pitch and running in at defenders and winning fouls. He was looking dangerous. If I'm not mistaken, he got past the defender a couple of times as well. You know? And you could just see the threat that he was posing to that Curacao defense when he was out on that left-hand side. And it almost led to a goal. I believe we got a free kick near the end. It was swung in, and unfortunately, you know, we thought we had a penalty call with a foul on Darren Payne, but it wasn't meant to be. And, you know, again, Levi looking very effective out on that left wing. So again, 4 games in, Levi hasn't scored yet, but we've seen glimpses of what he can do, and everything that we've seen is out on the wing, whether on the right or on the left. Let's move to the Jamaica game now, and this is the game where it really put the icing on the cake to say, yeah boy, Levi, you should have really been playing on the right wing or left wing or whatever, but mainly the right wing. So Trinidad and Tobago obviously dominated this game. Jamaica were but passers by. They did score their goal, they did score offside goal, but apart from that, Trinidad and Tobago were all over Jamaica in the Hazy Crawford Stadium. We look at the first instance where Levi Garcia showed his quality on the wing. Ball played through, he got there and did his skill. I think he did a step over, cut Richard King out on a wide area as well. Put Richard King on his pants and unfortunately didn't finish the goal. But again, Levi out on the wide, causing problems for defenders. Fast forward into the second half, late on, the new striker Roel Mitchell comes on. Levi Garcia is then pushed out onto the right wing, and this, we were sitting right by where Levi was attacking. Levi, Scully and I. Levi Elder, that is, from We Are Biased. And you just immediately see the comfort, you see the threat that Levi Garcia brings out on the wing. He was creating chances, he was beating defenders, he was cutting in, and this was a mere 15 minutes. This was a mere 15 minutes of that game where Levi Garcia looked himself, and I think that's the best that he looked throughout this whole campaign. And that was 15 minutes as opposed to all the other minutes that he played. Of course, he didn't play against Bermuda, so not much to say there. But all in all, Levi got 1 assist in 5 games, and he's our number 9. He's our best player, and no goals. And that was a mistake, because whether you disagree with me or not, Levi Garcia is one of our best players. So even if you don't think he is the best player, he's one of our best players. And he was not performing at his optimum level. We weren't getting the best out of him. You know, his performances were substandard. The whole country was looking to Levi Garcia to, you know, carry this nation to the World Cup. Levi is our star, but unfortunately, we just didn't get those performances out of him. And it's not to say Levi was playing badly. You know, his touch was good. He did create chances. You know, he did hold up the ball well. He was strong, but nowhere near to the quality that Trinidad and Tobago were expecting from a man the quality of Levi Garcia. And the reason that I say that this is our biggest mistake is because I always believe that, and again, this is my opinion, that you must get the best out of your best players. Because if you don't, then what's the point? You know, Messi in the World Cup, they did everything to facilitate him, and they won the World Cup. You know, they put players to literally protect Messi. The likes of Rodrigo, De Paul, everybody was basically a backup dancer to Messi. Yes, Julian Alvarez had a good World Cup. Yes, Alexis McAllister had a good World Cup. Di Maria, but let's be real, Messi was the focal point. And where was he? Playing in his position that he wanted to play. Now, Messi's a different story, obviously. He's like arguably the best player in the world. But still, the principle lies. Man City, Erling Haaland. Last year was problems for City. Now, you know, Pep is building the team around Erling Haaland, facilitating him. And he's arguably having one of the best seasons of his life right now. They still haven't figured it out fully, but you are seeing improvements. And one of the big reasons for that is because they are facilitating their best player in Erling Haaland. And I think that's where we fell short. Again, this is just my opinion. You know, you might think otherwise. You might think the defense might have been better. You know, you might think the midfield should have been better. It was too slow. But this is just what I think. I think our midfield was pretty competent. I think our defense, yeah, we had some shaky moments, but for the most part, it was decent. And I really believe that if we had Levi out on that wing for those games, you know, he would have been tantalizing defenders. Might not even have scored, but I could guarantee you that he would have been creating chances. And they might ask, well, what number 9 we should have played? Well, I think we could have played really any number 9. You know, it didn't have to be a world-class one. Obviously, we just found out about Royal Mitchell, but I'm pretty sure there are other 9s, even if it's Nathaniel James, you know, who just has a little more hunger in the box, I feel, than Levi. You know, if Levi was just a constant supply chain to some sort of number 9 who just sole focus is just to score goals, then I really believe that we might have been singing a different song. But just something to consider going forward. You know, we have other games coming up. Nations League and stuff will be coming in the future. And I hope that we do see Levi out on the wing, you know. And this is not me knocking Dante CD to say he should have benched or anything like that. You know, I still think Dante could have played part in the squad. Of course, he's talented. He's really good. He's a really good and talented player. But I just believe that Levi has that edge, that level, and we just won't get the best out of him. But let me know what you think in the comments. You could disagree, you could agree. Let me know what you think our mistake was and why we didn't qualify for the World Cup.